Welcome
We
to it,
did
Grace.
it.
It was so funny because it was like the pop-up came up and I was like, oh, get ready. Like, how do I do
Right,
that? And I was like, join. And it was like, you don't have permission. And I was like, I
right. It
literally
like coaches you
I
through
received
it.
permission.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
take a breath, and then you're like, here we go, and then it's like,
So,
meh.
I refreshed mine.
just kidding. Yes. Yeah, just kidding.
Now, Grace,
Well,
I'm looking at a very familiar wall. I think.
I chose
Um,
this, yes.
are you at a remote location today, joining us?
I am. I'm at Evanston Stitchworks. I just finished my class, ends at noon, and I kicked them all out on time this time. And I was like, I have things.
yeah. Grace, I think you tried to join at 3 minutes, which is amazing. That's how quickly it was, where you were like, okay, everybody, get the F out of this room immediately. I am
Yes.
busy and
About it.
important.
I set a 10-minute timer so that everyone can find a place to stop in their project, but also so we can all go on about our days.
Right.
And then I'm
It's
usually like getting the alert that you guys are going live as I'm getting in my car.
same.
Yeah.
But I like that. I like our noon traditions at the parties because then it is, you got a heart out. We have a heart out,
Got a heart
everybody.
out.
And then if we're
Yeah.
lingering, we gotta like, So, it's just helpful for classroom management, as you see.
Really. Well, and then Allison was like, here, we could just do these together and have you come on during our usual Thursday, or we could pick a different time. And it's like, why change? Why change anything? Like,
No.
this is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And shout out
Yeah.
to Stitchworks.
Yeah.
Were folks hard? Did you have good attendance today? I find summer to be a little challenging with attendance.
Summer is, but I've got a total of 7 or 8 for this
Nice.
one. But they're a full cult. Like, they fight each other to be in the class, which I'm like, thank you.
Goals.
Need
If I
goals.
feel
That's how you
like
do
an
it.
Allison class, like, oh, everyone wants to be here, perfect.
Goals.
Yeah, that's how you do it. So just to give everybody kind of a broad overview, and also how hilarious it is that you and Laura are back teaching at the same yarn store again. I mean, it's incestuous, the yarn community in Chicago. Incestuous and passionate hatred, I would say, are two staples of the yarn community.
Someone
in
once
Chicago.
said, like, why can't like a store just close, or a thing just happen? Why does it always have to be the most dramatic thing you've ever experienced anytime it
know.
happens? And I'm like, I don't know.
I don't know either. It does feel like everyone needs to take 7,000 chill pills, but I'm no longer involved.
No.
Thank God.
For the most part, no. I don't work for any
Yeah.
of these people. So,
No.
I mean,
No.
Freelance life is really the way to be. I find I'm like all of the minutia. Oh, it's that hard out at noon. Gotta hit it.
Really gotta go to
but I gotta
one
go.
of my other jobs now, everyone. Yeah. So Grace, we have known each other for approximately trillion years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How far away 2018 feels.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Grace was dyeing yarn for Lorna's Laces back in the day, and even before that, Grace, I was not a frequenter, but I popped into the old Windy Nitty, right? Windy Nitty, where Grace was working. So before that too, long time ago.
Ancient lore. Yeah.
Ancient history. And then when Lorna's Laces moved to Kentucky, we adopted Grace at Knit One. So Grace started working at Knit One and dyeing Knit One custom colors, which is why how a lot of you know Grace, because you used to buy. We did like a yarn box. We did yarn, yarn clubs and everything, Grace. So that's how a lot of people in the party knew you from your work at Knit One. And since that also imploded, you hard launched Gnome Depot Fibers around November of 2021. I'm just gonna like pull that
Yeah,
randomly
yeah. I don't
out of.
Hard to know if that's exactly accurate, but
it is. Yeah. Yeah. I think I had to make that choice about a month before that. When instead of telling me to get a real job, my husband looked at me and said, "So start your own yarn company." And I was like, "What? You want, this is the road we're going down?" And yeah, actually, and because, maybe it's good that there was the drama, because the initial wave of support that we all received right after everything went down actually allowed me to not need to take any loans that some people, Laura, perhaps were very interested in helping me escape, and provide me with a potential. So I didn't end up needing it, because the first club I launched ended up being such a good response that I was able to do everything without loans. And being a millennial, a proper millennial with plenty of student loan debt, as Allyson can relate to from that newsletter I just read, or maybe that was your blog, your 1998 blog post.
yeah.
1998 blog post.
Or GeoCities post.
Oh yeah, I could read that hard, like one loan at a time, please. So it was really great, and so being able to start without having to do that was pretty awesome. Although it was actually super flattering, like when Laura offered some assistance in the beginning, that was like super cool. Like, okay, there's potential in a lot of different places, but I wasn't sure which pie I wanted to grab at first,
Well, the time where we were all scrambling to do our next step, stuff that I think could argue we were working toward, but they just needed to happen in a very short runway, perhaps.
Right now.
Instantly, as opposed to the 3-year plan we developed. I think, you just wanted everyone to be okay. And then we were, we had set goals. Allison's told this story before, where like she set a very reasonable goal for people to join the Mighty Network, just to join Laura Allyson Party. And it was like 20 people would be nice. And then people just like really stepped up for us
in like 2 weeks.
Yeah. And Grace, I know you felt that too. And so it was just one of those things of like baseline, what do we need to be okay? And then our community was like joking about it earlier, but it is true. Our community really stepped up for us, and it's been great to like follow your business journey alongside ours. And now we're just back in an LIS again. I mean, what are you gonna do? You gotta diversify,
Such an interesting time too, and that's a great point. Like, no one was sure what was going on. Like, people had just barely been vaccinated like 6 months before everything went down for all of us. So like, we weren't back in brick and mortars really. And if we were, everybody was still masked, everybody was super cautious, which, thank you, that was a good transition in. And I mean, I ended up at Stitchworks basically the same way I ended up working for Allyson the first time, which Allyson offered me a job, whereas over here I was like, they're not posting crochet classes, let me just stroll on in my sweatpants. Like, it was a whim. I was like, oh, I do have a business card in my car, and I walked in and I said hi, and she was like, oh yeah, I need a teacher. And I was like, great.
Put your best foot forward, Grace. I mean, that's just that's a post-COVID response right there. You came in with a crochet energy, and that's how you got your job. Yeah.
I'm approachable, but I'll show up on time. So here's a card. Like, I'm giving you both.
Yeah. For better or worse, she was like, I know who you are. And I was like, ooh.
And not for nothing. And again, pretty much.
I know you.
Not for nothing, but like, if you are newer to the Laura Allyson Party, the lore that we're talking about was a yarn shop where Allyson used to own, and Grace and I used to work at, called Knit One. And then we had to very quickly scramble due to a business partnership souring. And the thing that was so helpful about that moment in time, even though it was very stressful and upsetting, was that Grace is familiar with this, as you were talking about at the beginning.
God.
You were familiar with weird yarn shop dynamics or jobs vanishing overnight. And you are very like, if this happens again, here's what I'll do. And we were like, okay, so there's like a baseline of experience with Grace, and we're just gonna like hold it together.
Grace said to me, like when things started getting weird, Grace said to me, Grace, I remember sitting in the backyard, you know, being like, I don't know, Grace, shit's getting weird. And Grace, you were like, Allyson, the only thing I ask for you is I don't want to learn that Knit One is closing on Facebook. And I took that to heart. And when I got fired, I called you and I was like, Grace, it's over. And you were like, cool, thanks for the heads up. And then that was like, what, you lasted like a week before you got fired too, Grace?
Yeah. Yeah, I actually got a text message about you being fired before you landed. I don't know if you know that part.
Oh, from Laura?
No.
Oh, from Lynn.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. You knew
so
first.
I was like, what is happening?
You knew
I
first.
think well, because I think that there was a misunderstanding about what was going to be happening and about how if the shop was no longer going to exist and these other people and these other entities who wanted to continue buying my yarn were going to continue being people I need to be in business with, then my interests don't lie with scorched earth tactics. So I was trying to finish up a bunch of things. We had clubs to finish for the year.
Yes.
So many plates spinning that I was
classes,
like,
we were all teaching classes. Yeah.
Well, that's why I found out I was fired was I woke up and didn't have email access. Yeah, so just a fascinating.
I went in and had to work in the store, so it was all fun. It was.
I really love, Allyson, though, that you remembered that Facebook story because that is one of my favorite stories to tell. But that is how I found out that one other yarn shop was closing was Facebook. So you know, the thing that it all boils down to is communication. And I like to operate very transparently, whether it's about my politics and human rights opinions, what my business is doing. You know, I try and get stuff in the mail on time. And is it pronounced Shura? Your yarn's mailing tomorrow. Thank you.
Shira. Yeah.
Okay.
Shira.
So just every now and again, I just don't make it to the post office. But yeah, so thank you for your orders, y'all. And I just had seen Shira's name and I was like, oh, right, I'm going to get on this. And anyway, but yeah, so, you know, just trying to be open about everything.
And to your previous point too, Grace, like the other thing that, I mean, was again, terrible time, but like we had also gone into these new areas for ourselves professionally in the middle of a pandemic under the auspices of a brick and mortar store where we were like, will this work? These are things I know how to do. So why don't we present them to people and see what happens? And so at least we'd had experience with like trying new things and helping each other as we were trying these new things. So I feel like I'm trying to bring this in for a landing for today's topic about partnering with you as an official yarn sponsor. It's just such a cool full circle moment.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't know where I want to go with that, but I love
it's a lot. I had to take a moment too where I'm like, wow, like good for us, man. It's pretty cool.
I was trying to log in and join. I think you guys were talking about it, about community, about like, I mean, the rising tide lifts all boats. And I think there is certainly a way for us all to be able to do the things we want to do in a way we want to do them. Like I love teaching and I love dyeing yarn. And you guys love teaching and you guys love hosting retreats, which just sounds like chaos every time, but here you are.
It is.
So it's like so many things can work together and we can all benefit. And even like the fundraisers I try and do through my business, even though my business is make tons of money. It's like, I like to be able to support the local things that are important. I've worked with Tree House in Rogers Park. It's a cat rescue shelter. This time I'm raising money for Task Force, which helps LGBT youth. And it's like, it's a small way, and even just capitalism, if we're just talking about capitalistically, like, I could charge more for my yarn and I don't, because I want, a person who is of average build, who is for a while was the largest size in a sewing pattern or a knitting pattern, like, I can afford X amount of yarn dollars wise, and I'm average. So I want people to not have to necessarily overspend to have a quality hand dyed product. So even just in all these different ways, like trying to focus on community.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why Knit One worked when we were all there, because we all had the same values, and we all, we tried to make that space just as inclusive and affordable and accessible to everyone, which, famously a lot of yarn stores do not do. And I'm not sure that there is one in the Chicago area that is full service, who has the same values that we had when we were running the joint over there, which is a shame, because it really is a great place to it's a great outlet for people, especially these days, to have craft and have knitting, but that's something that we all continue to do in our own ways, in a different way now.
Yes. And I think that too, a knitting shop can be something that we don't have a lot of, which is a third space, right? A place where you don't have to go and buy a beer, or you don't have to go and buy a coffee in order to exist in those spaces. Like the library is one of those third spaces. You can just be in a library. And so I know you're moving to Portugal now, but there was a moment where I was like, well, as things are becoming more open, like, I wondered if you two were going to take Laura Allyson into a brick and mortar base so that you could have a third space, so that people could be there learning from you, even outside of classes. It would be your office and you would teach from there too. Sometimes it would be a space. So I always wondered, like, how, as the world was changing, how we would all change. And I like where we ended up. You guys found places to host in person eventually. Your online success has been amazing. When everything first went down, it was so funny because people were more aware of what was happening with us. And they were like, well, what were all of their ideas for Knit One? And I was like, well, all the things they're doing right now. Retreats and more classes and more versions of things, like you guys have sewing and knitting and crochet, and so it's very and cross stitch, and the list keeps going as you keep going.
Sports, it's just whatever.
Sports girls, sporties. Laura still has a dream of opening a space that looks like that. So
I do.
That was
for sure
in her heart, for sure.
Because I am moving, Grace, to beautiful Skokie, Illinois.
I did.
Yeah, I know. And you're like, cool. But I will be.
I mean, congratulations. I didn't realize that you guys were together as, like, how's it been? 3 years? Like, how's it been?
4, yeah.
4 years? Yeah.
Well, Brooke and I 3. Yeah. Sorry, Allyson, like 10 years. But Brooke and I have been together for 3 years. Yes,
12 years. How dare you?
Yeah, sorry.
12 years.
How dare 18 years. My entire. It's been a lifetime. It's been a lifetime.
Grace, you walked into that one. Listen.
Yeah, I did.
No, this is all,
it's been nice.
Nothing like packing up your home to make you really challenge your relationship with time. I just can't, believe how, because my entire Knit One career happened while I was living here. And I went from, I'm going to pick up a couple of extra hours because I quit my job out of the blue, to it's a global pandemic, this is my only job, to now I'm opening up 2 small side businesses and working out of this house, to meeting a man with 3 children that lives in the suburbs, and now I'm now I'm moving there to build specifically a home office.
So important.
So,
Flexibility.
this, I also share that. So it's hard to believe that that's been 4 years, like all that in 4 years. And also, like, it has been a real nod to like needing to be flexible for sure. But yeah, I don't know what day it is, let alone how long things have been, what's going on. Yeah. I'm just glad we all made it here at the same time.
I thought I could log on yesterday, but yesterday was not Thursday. So
sometimes sometimes that's a challenge for me. Last Thursday, I was fully ready, threw on a lip and had headphones on, and then it was like, oh, we don't have a live today. So.
You just call me next time that happens. Just be like, I put these on. What's happening?
Put these on.
Girl.
Let's go. Just go live on Instagram, right, Grace?
Yeah.
Yes. The OG. Right there.
The point is like, things that you want to be doing, like the sewing component of Laura Allyson Party really lives because Allyson has become this amazing instructor, particularly around undergarments and bras. And it's really been great to see her like flex that muscle. I really missed teaching in person, and Stitchworks has super provided that for me and has made me really want to lean into that and find some sort of space like you're talking about, Grace. And in particular, like a true third space where there isn't necessarily that pressure to like, you got to buy the beverage or the coffee or you can shop around for your yarn. It's I don't know. It's still kind of
minimums to keep your business open,
because that's where it really because we talked about that a lot, and we're transparent with our customers about that at Knit One too, where it's just like we want you to feel like you're in community here and come to Knit Nights and have this as your spot, but we can't host anything if we can't make our rent. So it's a balance, right? It's really tough.
Yeah.
Yes. And I will say that the whole trying to run your business out of your home was not ever in my plan, and then it became my reality. And that's how I ended up moving shortly after everything happened.
Yeah.
Because I needed a bigger space so I could dye yarn in my kitchen. And y'all, that's the thing I said I never wanted. And so as we're
in the suburbs, Grace. Yay.
Yeah. Well, so it was amazing because then it was like we moved from this 1-bedroom shotgun style apartment where at least we were the garden unit, and our garden unit was actually attached to our second point of egress was also our storage unit. So I would walk back there, mix all my dye into the little cups, and then walk back into the kitchen through my living room, and then dye all the yarn in my teeny tiny kitchen, and then walk back to my bathroom to rinse everything in my bathtub, and then so some of the early pictures are of all of my yarn hanging on additional curtain rods that I tension rods across the top of my shower, and then hung everything in there.
Pioneer woman.
Having space in my home was like yay, but also boo, because now I'm still dyeing out of my home. So some of you will know that I ended up dyeing now for the last 2 years out of the back of the Bloom and Spindle over in Portage Park, which has been amazing, even though I hate the commute. It's 30 to 40 minutes from where I live in Rogers Park, so that's kind of a bummer. But she doesn't charge me rent. She doesn't. So I know a lot of people don't know these details. I joke that I'm like the creature that lives inside the coral, like we have the symbiotic relationship. So like
that's exactly how I would describe you, Grace.
Yeah, exactly.
A creature that lives inside the coral. Yeah. I tell everyone that.
He gets to sort of be my flagship and have the majority of things first, and then I am there 4 days a week, usually dyeing yarn. So people can come. Tuesday we're closed, but I'm there because we're closed. Working by myself, dyeing yarn, but not in a dungeon. And people can come and see me dyeing in real time. They can learn to dye their own yarn. I teach a monthly dye lab there. So I just give her a better deal on her wholesale and on her class fees, and she doesn't charge me rent, and it works. I get to be a feature for her shop, and I don't have to dye in my kitchen anymore, which
Yes.
dye in your kitchen, you have to clean to cook, and then clean to dye, and then clean to cook, and then clean to dye. And then you have to get up on time so that you can cook from breakfast to lunch, clean up so your husband who works from home can also eat food in their home, and then dye from lunch to dinner if you think that you have that much more to dye, and then clean up for dinner or find a creative way to set everything aside. So that wasn't really my favorite thing.
No.
Despite all of the different personalities that were involved in the meltdown from Knit One and the opening of the Bloom and Spindle and all of these different, it's like, you know what, at the end, just like when I was trying to handle stuff during the breakup, it was, this is what's going to be best for Gnome Depot Fiber. And so this is the move I have to make, and it's working. So that's what matters.
And it does take, it's always so funny to me because Allyson talks about how she does not particularly enjoy collaboration, but I have been her collaborator for the last half a decade.
There has to be an exception that proves the rule, Laura.
Yes, yes. But it is, I'm finding, much easier to collaborate when it's under your own business. You can pivot your business and put it in a lot of different spaces rather than you're wholly dependent on one spot. So it is nice to have that coral that you need to get things out of your house, while also still having it be your brand that you are in charge of. Yeah.
And then Grace, you teach at not only Evanston Stitchworks where you are right now, but are you still doing workshops and stuff at Cog Cycles?
Sometimes. So half the year I do dyeing workshops out of Cog Cycles, so they get about 6 or 7 months starting in October because they switch over from bicycles to yarn. So I'll do once a month there, and then during the summer it's nice to just do them at the studio because I don't have to travel. It's very hot and sweaty, and the air conditioning is really great right by where I'm dyeing yarn. So everybody just comes to me. Perfect.
Yeah.
So I do some workshops there. I teach online. I have a sort of because independent project classes are so popular, I like this starting this quarter, we started 10 days ago. Next Tuesday will be the second Tuesday of this quarter. I don't know how time works. We're going to have a crochet focus. Most of the people who come are knitters, or at least predominantly knitters, but there are some crochet things that we're doing. So it's an open format. Everybody can work on whatever they want to work on project wise. But then we're last quarter, we did a brioche focus. So we did knit brioche, but this time we're going to do crochet basics, crochet brioche, and then also granny squares. Because Tanis Lavali, I don't actually know how to say her name. Tanis Fiber Arts keeps coming out with all of these freaking adorable granny square starters. Yeah. So that's going to be the focus leading into quarter 4. So I think by the end of September, I think we're all going to start the Getty tee, or several of us. So starts with, if you haven't seen it yet, it's 4 granny squares for your saddle shoulder, and then you pick up and work.
I'm so into it. It's
my God, right? Yeah.
That caught our eye from your newsletter. If you're not signed up for Grace's newsletter, you got to get on that. But yeah, so cute, such a great idea. I love trying to make crochet and knitting work harmoniously. I feel like a lot of people fight that, but they shouldn't, because it's great. Yeah, they work together really nicely, and that Getty tea is so cute.
It is.
I had been watching this person on Instagram for a while, and like all of her captions are like, I don't have a pattern, I just make these are fun. But they are like, there's a granny square panel, and then she makes like thigh-high socks, so the rest of the sock is knit. So it's very much the same thing where you're starting with the granny squares. And I'll post later to the party. I've been working on some for myself, and they are so wildly fun, because you don't actually have to knit a whole lot. You're just knitting the back half the whole time. Right. And it's like, okay, I've got this granny square, half the socks already done. So cool. I'm obsessed with this, and other people were like, we should make this. I'm like, let's go.
People always get real ambitious with their granny square projects, and you get like 8 granny squares in and you're like, I'm done now with this. But when you're just making a couple for a project, that's exactly how many granny squares you actually want.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it doesn't all have to be blankets, y'all. It could be a lot of other things.
No. Yeah. And so people can find that on your website too, right, Grace?
Yep. Yes. Everything is on there there's a classes section, but I gotta tell you, it's just usually the one. Because that's just the one people wanted. So I just kept rolling with it. Yeah. And for a while it was also working out that y'all were on every other Tuesday night, and so at first it was like they were aligning, and now I'm just like, it's a free-for-all. Like, I'll have people like, oh, I'll be there 30 minutes late, I'm getting my points from Laura Allyson so for like sleep pepper, and I'm like, okay, great.
Yeah, you got to get your points.
Yes, totally understand.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I don't understand why more people aren't doing online classes and online stuff anymore. It's so nice, and people really love it. Yeah.
And we create so many connections. I mean, your whole group here is a testament to that. Like, like we need the connection. I think too, that's like why Ravelry was so fun in the beginning. Was because we had this, but this is way more fun. And there are people who live in the middle of nowhere who don't have any of this. So like, where else are they going to go? And that's how we found half the people originally. And like random people, like I'll just get emails like, what's going on here? And I'm like, still online classes. Who are you?
Yeah.
I think that, to just toot our collective horns, I think that there was the fact that we were offering the classes, but the way that we run our classes does encourage people to talk to each other and get excited with each other. And then I feel like a lot of times when we have retreats, even in Iceland, it feels like class reunions almost, of like, oh my God, like we've taken all these classes together, we've never met. And it's like a fun, it's a fun aspect of the IRL thing. That isn't, I think that people, because we didn't offer online classes until the pandemic, I think that people had experiences of maybe not as well run classes. And I feel like obviously having expert instruction helps a lot, but then making it fun and encouraging them to like chat with each other, I think is the key. So I think, some people maybe don't seek out virtual classes because they didn't maybe have the best experience, or they associate Zoom with being stuck in their house, but it's a real level up. I see Heather in the chat, and she's like, she's been really just a true blue party gal since I met her in Evanston, and she's really does my in-person classes, and she at Stitchworks, and then talks and takes Allyson's virtual classes, and it's like the best. It's the best combo.
Does that mean I've met Heather?
Which you might have. Tuesday. Okay, Tuesday.
I'm bad at names.
Yeah.
So
well, and her picture's about this big in the chat. But yes.
And I'm like, that's familiar.
Well, everyone's always like, oh, you're getting a sub. It'll be Grace? And I'm like, I'm like, probably. I mean, probably. They're like, oh, thank God.
Well, I saw you guys pictures from Iceland, and I was like, huh, maybe Laura took whatever month that was, May. I was like, or June. I was like, maybe Laura just took June off because she knew she was going to be gone, because I don't remember discussing. And then like a minute later, I have this thought, and it's like, who could cover these classes? And it was like, oops. We got it about 90 there over here. So
they all knew, all the students knew I was going. So I don't know what happened, but you crushed it, and everyone was very happy to see you. So
I love getting to check in. I'm like, look how far your sweaters have come since I saw you 2 months ago.
Nice?
Or, I'm like, of course Laura recommended this sweater. Yep. It's a lot of that.
You know, you were talking about, Grace, that you were essentially doing your one pattern over and over again. And I find like Allyson teaches a lot of Andrea Mowry because she's got the code, you know. Mm-hmm. And for me, it's petite knits. I'm just the petite knit whisperer, where it's like, I know you want this, but you're gonna look at this pattern and be like, am I missing pages? And that's where I come in.
And that's what I forget, because I only see them when someone else brings them to me. And I finally, I bought my own copy of the Sophie scarf after reading it with students so many times. Like, I should read it all the way through. But so we'll sit down and someone will be like, why did she write it this way? And I'm like, that's how she writes. And what happens is, once you find a designer you like, you get used to the way they write, and you get used to, in this case with petite knits, a lot of times it's just a small translation situation. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, once you decode what happens when she translates things, then easy.
And once you learn that she likes to just skip important verbs when it comes to doing short rows, you can teach that forever, because that's not intuitive at all, ever.
No. I will say too that the thing we do better than you, all of us here, in terms of our online stuff too, is the value that we added by offering the recordings. I just wanted to circle back to that, because I think that was one of the smartest things we did. People being able to play back their classes.
Yes.
And I mean, obviously being excellent teachers is a first key step in
100%.
Good online classes, but the way we have learned to communicate with our students, and I love teaching beginners, and I teach beginners a lot. It's hard to teach online beginners, but because we were able to add the hand cam, the playback options, I uploaded a bunch of stuff to YouTube so I could just keep sending it to new people.
Yep, same. Yep.
And just save those links. None of my YouTube is live, because I don't need someone coming into the comments randomly and being like, why didn't you paint your nails? And it's like, I did.
Unlisted life. Yeah. Well, and that's why I love Allison's new model too. Have you been seeing this in Allison's
Grace, did you see? I'm doing on-demand classes now too, Grace.
I'm both.
Because why not?
I love that. Yep.
Oh,
I think that's so smart.
Right?
Oh my God. I wish that I liked things touching my head, but if more than my glasses are around my head,
you can't deal.
It'd be real cute with your hair, Grace. It'd be real cute with your hair.
Oh yeah, it would.
Yeah,
I just being able to have my air conditioner on while we do these. That is a real
weird haircut.
And blowing.
They started making clip-on things for your over the head that look like little fairy wings and stuff, and I'm just I want to be able to wear that on my head.
It's tough. That's tough.
One day, I hope you get that for you, Race. Yeah.
This is we're still so aligned, because we come from the same teaching roots, I feel. But
we've been through the shit together too. I feel like we're bonded through trauma.
Yeah.
Soldiers.
I was gonna say that, but then I was stolen valor. I didn't.
Yeah.
But
less
yeah,
intense than actual combat, but just
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
unpredictable.
It felt a little jabby to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say too, let's sharp left turn here.
Oh yeah.
Online stuff. I'm adding more stuff. So the stuff that I added online for shopping, I know was a little bit light. It was all the in stock that I had, but I'm dyeing a lot of stuff for Yarn Crawl. And the stuff that's not specifically for a shop for Yarn Crawl, some of the other bases will end up like there's new colorways coming. And so those will start showing up towards the end of July. Yarn Crawl kicks off July 26th here in Chicago, and it goes through August 3rd, so that you have lots of time to visit the shops. I have yarn at 4 shops in Chicago.
Shout them out, Grace. Which ones?
Where can we find you?
Evanston Stitchworks,
Heard
Bloom and Spindle, and the Drop Stitch in Andersonville.
Nice.
Yes, our new girly. Yeah.
The Burbs, I have one way out west by, what is it? What do they call it? Four Corners, where the states meet? Twin.
Yeah.
Way out
Quad
west.
Cities. The Quad Cities.
Oh,
yeah.
the Quad Cities.
So they don't really
Grace.
count, but I do have a shop out there. And then Ari Yarns in Park Ridge also carries my yarn. So if you are a suburban shopper, she has done an order with me. So my yarns are all, I joke that I'm trying to be the Malabrigo of local yarn, where every shop has me, and you're like, I can definitely find Gnome Depot anywhere I stumble into. But they all have lots of different bases, so that's super cool. Like Cog Cycles does really well with bulky yarn, and so they took bulky and DK, I think. And Evanston wanted fingering and worsted. Drop Stitch wanted summer yarn, so they have a tencel base and a bamboo linen base, as well as some worsted. So I have some plant fiber yarn. Yeah. So everybody's got a little bit of something different. Bloom and Spindle kind of has a little bit of everything, because it's easier for me to just throw stuff up fresh out of the pan and onto the wall. So so a little bit of everything. So it's nice to have it, to have lots of different bases and to have lots of things happening.
Grace, are you taking new yarn shops too? So if somebody's watching this and they're not in, you're not in their local yarn store, can someone reach out to you?
Absolutely.
To see? Yeah, awesome.
Yep,
Great.
and any of the stores that we currently have yarn with, they can also do special orders. So if there's a particular base and colorway, any base can be dyed in any colorway, and all they have to do is take your information, and usually I tell them a 50% deposit, so be ready for that. And then they tell me Shira needs 12 worsted in sunflower, and then I dye that for them. And then we figure it out from there.
And you take custom orders on your website too, right, Grace?
I do. Yep. For bases in my regular colors, but secret, I do this. I don't advertise this, but I will tell all of y'all that if you are trying to do a custom color, I do that as well. And I do it at least a few times a year at this point. People send a picture and they're like, I want 4 skeins of this, and it looks like the Chicago riverfront. Great. Here's what I think that this will look like. It turned out pretty cute.
Really? That sounds like toxic sludge.
Like
it
bright
was
green.
It was a misty gray with a little bit of brown, and then like the pops of color from the picture were like the green of the trees and like the brick color. And so then I put like speckles of that. So I send back this is my vision, and they're like, great, go to town. So I do custom colorways as well.
Love that. Grace, if anybody has any questions for Grace, to pop them in the chat. We can do that. Grace, I'm about to contact you about a custom color order coming up as well. So
I love that.
Yeah.
For work from social, is it?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. We're doing a DK weight this year, Grace. We're doing like a hat pattern.
Oh, fun. I have 2 DK weights now in wool. One is merino with nylon, and one is the same BFL superwash base.
I do love that BFL.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
Love it.
So you
Yeah,
have
love
choices.
it. Yeah, questions for Grace, drop them in the chat. Out of curiosity, is Grace's picture frozen for
Ooh,
anyone
I don't
else?
think so. Was I standing still?
No, you know, it's been
You
frozen
look
for the
right.
the last time is you're
Oh.
not doing anything weird.
Okay.
No,
I do wonder if you
frozen
turn your
for
camera
everyone.
off and on, if that might help. But
It might
I
come
know how to
back.
do that.
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
there we go. Little
Cute.
Okay,
sign.
something happened.
yeah.
And
Ooh,
What do we
she's
think?
just a black blob now.
Ooh, I'm
Black
back.
blob.
Do this again. So at least it's my
Yeah.
tiny picture.
Yeah, cute. Love it.
sometimes the Wi-Fi
Absolutely.
at the Stitchworks can be a little spotty, but we
You
can
can
still hear you.
Okay, great. I do
Oh,
plan
Kira says now
on-
she has 2 Allysons. Oh, that sounds really scary.
Ooh.
Yeah.
My name is
Shira has 2
Laura.
Allisons.
My name is Laura. I'm my own person.
Or Laura will answer to Allison, though,
I
if
do.
push comes to shove.
I really have stopped
I
correcting
also-
people at this point.
Yeah, I have also stopped correcting people when they call me Laura. I take it as a compliment, honestly.
It's starting to sound like a first name, last name for me too, or like Laura Allison, you know, like it's like Laura Ashley, you know, it's like, yeah, it's fine.
Oh my God, Laura Ashley. You can't see me laughing and nodding along, but yes.
It seems like Mighty Networks is having an issue with the iPhones.
Oh, maybe.
Something's going on with the iPhone today.
Yeah, something's going on with the
So.
iPhones. Yeah. So just to review, Grace at Gnome Depot Fibers is our sponsor for July and August. Grace is giving party people 15% off. We are not going to say the coupon code because this does go live on our YouTube channel. And if you are not a member of Laura Allison Party, you do not have access to that coupon code. So what are you doing? Watching us on YouTube and not in the party? That's crazy. Does that even happen? Who knows? But we are protecting that information for Grace. So if you have, I guess, a custom color in your heart, keep an eye on Grace's website for updates. She's going to be updating yarn throughout July and into August. Right, Grace? You never stop.
Yeah, I never stop.
She never stops.
Nope.
Yeah, she never stops. When you are working with Grace's Yarn this month and next month, post a picture of it on the party because you'll be entered to win two grand prizes. One is a $50 gift card to GnomeDepotFibers.com, and one is a $50 gift card to the stockist of your choice, which is exciting. Also, Grace.
Yes.
Yeah,
Hello.
we love that. Yes, hello. Voice from the deep. That's great. Right now.
There's a little we can see the audio in the corner, so at least we know you're talking.
The abyss.
Yeah.
The abyss. Voice from the abyss. Yes, exactly. And Grace, you are running a fundraiser right now. You mentioned it earlier in the program, but will you just talk about that a little bit more?
Yeah, totally. If you submit, there's a form through my website. It's all there too. It's a Google form. If you make a yarn purchase or if you are just using Gnome Depot fiber in your project, so much like the same way you're going to get points here in the party, if you also submit those to my official Google Doc form, you're also entered to win an additional $100 gift card to any of my stockists as well. So you don't have, okay, my stockists carry other yarns besides mine, I do know, but I'm also in the business of supporting small business. So I decide to limit it to those shops. So those 7 right now shops apparently. And I have a list of stockists. I think I need to update it on my website so you can see who and where. Most of them have their yarn online as well. So you'll be able to shop remotely, which is part of the ideal situation here. And so it's really easy. You just upload a photo of either a purchase that you made online or in a shop, or you just post a picture of your whip that you're working on. Every skein that you either purchase or are using in your project is an entry. So if you're using a 2-color project and they're both Gnome Beach Bow, that's 2 entries. Anything that gets purchased from my website specifically will 10% of that is going into the fundraiser as well.
Awesome.
Yep.
So
Yep.
cool.
Yeah. Great. So never a better time to support Grace, support Task Force, and take advantage of ordering some beautiful hand-dyed yarns from one of Laura Allison's dedicated collaborators from way back. Yeah, absolutely.
And when I put up the website with the new stuff, I will, like I did for today's show, I'll email y'all so that you can make a post so that the party knows first. That way you guys can shop first.
We love an exclusive, Grace. Yes, we do.
Yes.
It's our favorite. Yeah.
Hooray!
Hooray. All right. Well, no questions are coming in. I think because we did such an amazing job.
Thorough.
Yeah. Such a thorough job. So we just want to say thank you to everyone who joined us live today.
Yeah.
Who learned more about Grace and her beautiful yarn and are supporting all 3 of us through this channel. We really appreciate it. Something that Grace said earlier was, we believe that a rising tide raises all ships. That has been a cornerstone of our philosophy when we left Knit One, and we get to do that because everyone around us is so generous. We all succeed together. So thank you so much, and thank you to Grace. Grace, thank you for being our second yarn sponsor over here at Laura Allison Party. We really appreciate it.
Making dreams come true.
Well, thanks for inviting me to be a sponsor and having me online. And I think we're going to do another one of these towards the end of my sponsorship. So if you guys think of any questions, you can message me in the party, or you can save it for later in the month, and I'll join probably the last Thursday before everything ends. Yes, Allison.
Question. Can we do, assuming that your camera works then, but we would love to see some yarn. We would love to see some show and tell and some beautiful yarn. Can we make that happen?
Is that a thing that people want to see from a dyer? I didn't.
Listen, we have a great, we're now consultants, and we are here to consult that maybe to sell some yarn for your yarn company.
I'll be sitting in air conditioning, so maybe I can even wear a sweater. Right.
Maybe. We
love sweaters around here.
We never know what's going to happen out there weather-wise, but would love to see it. Would love it.
Yeah, totally. And then if anybody has, like I said, any questions or wants to see anything in the party, just message me and I'll just post whatever. And I'll post the thing with my crochet socks in the party too, because they are fun and fabulous.
Gotta see them.
Yes, we want to see that. Absolutely. Yeah, we want to see that. We should do coming up, Grace, maybe over winter, we should do knit along that the theme can be crochet and knitting together. What do you think about that?
Yes. Once you're moved,
right? Happen.
Yeah. If we do it in January, then we could touch base potentially in person when I'm at the retreat in February.
Love when this all comes together. Talk about working smarter, not harder. Like the collabs, we're just falling into one collab after the other. It's amazing.
Hell yeah.
Love it. And I hate collaboration. So, I do. Yeah. I only do it when Laura makes me.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's fine. Everything is she's making a hilarious joke because Grace, you make it very easy to collaborate, and that is that's the key. Make it easy.
Yep, that's the key. Once things get real hard, then I'm out real fast.
Yeah. Once we're on email number 8,
things have taken a turn.
You don't have to worry about me. Woo!
If my screen's not working, I am crossing my fingers like the emoji I put in the chat just now. So good luck to all of us on collaborating.
I love it. Yeah, but I really think that doing a crochet and knitting collab is going to be really
make
good
it happen.
I feel like, people around here fight crochet a lot, but it's a really great tool and you can use it.
In fact,
if you ever want a guest crochet teacher, I'm happy to bring the crochet love over and be an exclusive. I know you guys do those Friday night things sometimes.
Yes, what a great idea.
Consider it done, Grace. Consider it done.
I actually wonder. I didn't start my business right away when you guys launched Laura Allison's the last nugget, because I wasn't sure if you guys were going to hire me on after the drama finished. But
oh my God!
So I didn't.
Collaboration's hard, Grace.
So we'll end with that.
Yeah.
Well, listen. That a guest Friday night level up series. This is great. Crochet for knitters. This is great.
Yeah,
would
love that. Yeah. Well, we could barely hire ourselves, Grace. When everything went down. So I'm glad. Well, a little aside, Grace, I remember calling you when you didn't launch your business right away, and I was like, Grace, you got to launch your business right now, and you were like, no, I think I'll wait until the new year, and I was like, Grace.
No, yes, this is true.
You need to do it right now. You need to.
This happened several times. Allyson would call me and tell me something, and I'd be like, "Oh, like a sign from above." Like what is happening? And I don't like to talk on the phone, but every time Allyson called, I'd be like, "Is this a mission?"
Yes, it usually is. Yeah, and that's part of our collaboration, Grace, because I'm always like, well, I'm gonna take 3 months and like ruminate on it, and Allison's like, well, actually, it's the incorporation's already been filed, and plane tickets are booked, so that's what's happening. And I say, okay, and then that's what happens, and we're all the better for it. So someone's got to be the pusher, and someone's got to be the hold on. And that's how that all works.
Yes, I'm always the pusher for sure.
And you know,
well, I'm glad
we need that.
You do. We do. There's enough noodly in our own heads in our community. We need more doers. We need more action.
I also love being able to wield that kind of power. Like most people hate talking on the phone, but when I call, everyone answers the phone
immediately.
Right? I'm like, this is serious, and you know it. Exactly.
If it's Laura or Allyson, a text or a phone call, I'm just like, oh
God.
Yeah.
Oh no, is what you say.
That could be the drama. Yeah, that's deep.
There's a 50-50 on what this is about to be about.
What fresh hell is this? Let her answer.
Oh God, right? Oh God. All right. Well, Grace, thank you so much again for joining us. We're looking forward to doing this again and seeing some yarn. We can harken back to our deep COVID lives when we were just selling yarn right out of the box.
I'll put it in a box to show you guys in a box.
We love that. We love when things are in a box. Yes, it's great. All right, everybody. Thanks again for joining us. Have a great rest of your Thursday. Oh, one push, Sheep School tomorrow night. Level up.
That's right. Speaking of level up, join me tomorrow night for Sheep School. We'll be talking all things Scandinavian sheep, including from the Faroe Islands. Stay tuned.
Faroe Islands. Stay tuned. All right, everybody. See you then. All right. Bye.